Welcome, thrill seekers, to Old Changi Hospital, a place where war's echoes still haunt the halls. From brutal war crimes to ghostly apparitions, this hospital hides a chilling past that refuses to fade. If you dare to explore, like and subscribe to Phantom Tale for more spine-chilling tales. Let's begin. Built while death and destruction were rife, war hospitals always seem to carry the most gruesome histories. Case in point, Old Changi Hospital. Originally called the Royal Air Force Hospital, Old Changi was built by the British in 1935 to care for colonial and local troops in Singapore. That might have been it for the tale of Old Changi, but with conflict comes war, and with war comes conquest. In 1942, the Japanese attacked Singapore, taking control of the country and hospital. Suddenly, what was once a place to care for the British soldiers and their allies became a prison camp where many met their deaths. Old Changi became a repository to store the British, Australian, Indian, and Malaysian soldiers, as well as any troublesome Singaporeans with anti-Japanese sentiments. The hospital-turned-prison camp was run by the Kempeitai, the Japanese secret police, known worldwide for their brutal tactics. Prisoners of war were regularly submitted to torture of the cruelest and most unusual varieties. One Australian soldier recounted his interrogation. The interviewer produced a small piece of wood like a meat skewer, pushed that into my left ear, and tapped it with a small hammer. I think I fainted sometime after it went through the drum. I remember the last excruciating sort of pain, and I must have gone out for some time because I was revived with a bucket of water. Eventually it healed, but of course I couldn't hear with it. I have never been able to hear since. The Japanese used scare tactics on those they allowed to live. They placed iron stakes outside of the YMCA and Cathay buildings of Old Changi. They then displayed the severed hands of executed prisoners on the stakes for all to see. Thousands of people died at the hospital before the Japanese lost and the war ended. As the hospital changed hands back to the British, many of the Japanese soldiers were executed there in turn. Old Changi, which was supposed to be a place of healing, witnessed a lot of death on both sides. In 1975, the British withdrew from Singapore, and the hospital truly returned to its original purpose, serving the sick and wounded from Singapore's army as well as the general public. Old Changi was finally abandoned in the 1990s as newer facilities were built. While Old Changi's violent history is well documented, the public has also come forward with stories of abnormal and unexplainable occurrences at the abandoned hospital, by the thousands. It is considered the most haunted place in Singapore, and the locals confirm it by fervently warning visitors to stay away from the area at night. Those brave, foolish enough to visit commonly claim to have seen apparitions or shadows of people, hear disembodied screams, witnessed strange, erratic lights, and scented phantom scents. Some claim to see a small boy throughout the hospital, always found sitting and staring into nothingness. The boy looks sad, and those who see him feel a strong sense of the emotion even after leaving the building. The most horrific stories come from the numerous people who reported stumbling across a gory bloodbath, the mass execution of Japanese soldiers. As the stories of strange sights and sounds at Old Changi continue to pour in, the hospital has become a regular attraction for teenagers and thrill seekers. Singaporean native Andreas Chan was once one such teenager. She visited Old Changi with her friends quite a few times when she was young. Most of their visits consisted of the usual thrills: dank, dark rooms, and strange smells that piqued their curiosity more than their fears. But what happened on one visit had them leaving the hospital with chills down their spines. 2 of the 4 girls were exploring the second floor when they heard a loud bang on the ceiling of the first floor. They ran over to the source of the sound and stomped their feet on the floor, thinking their friends had been banging on the ceiling to scare them. They heard another loud bang in return. After, they ran downstairs to confront their friends and found the first floor empty. What's more, the ceiling was so high, it would have been impossible for anyone to bang on it without a ladder. Chan and her friend later found their other friends on the second floor. They had been exploring another room and had no idea what sounds the other girls were talking about. Events took a turn for the scarier when one of the girls mentioned hearing a voice complaining that they were making too much noise, even though there was no one else in the building but the four of them. The voice had offered this warning in Hokkien, the main Chinese dialect spoken in Singapore when the hospital first opened. Andreas Chan's account is just one of the thousands of strange and unusual happenings at Old Changi. The notion that the hospital was haunted became so popular that a crew produced a mockumentary film on the premises called Haunted Changi. The film was released in 2010, and while it was meant to be a bit humorous, the real ghosts of Changi weren't laughing. The crew was in for some real paranormal activity that they hadn't bargained for. Many complained of hearing loud bangs from empty parts of the hospital, disembodied voices, and groping of unseen hands. Several reported seeing the apparition of a woman with what appeared to be a black aura. The most ironic and disturbing part about it was that they also managed to catch a shadow person on video while filming the movie. They decided to leave the video of the lurking figure in the final cut of the film, lending some unintended credibility to the message of Haunted Changi. After garnering so much spooky and unexpected interest, many attempts have been made to plan a reconstruction of the dead and decaying hospital. All have fallen through for one reason or another, and the historic building lies vacant to this day. To some, it's a paranormal haven, sure to leave visitors with chills down their spines and sights they can't unsee. For others, the building is a monument of war and perseverance. No matter which camp you're in, Old Changi, and maybe its ghosts, is a testament to a particularly gruesome and unforgiving time in human history.